all stand and join me with the pledge of allegiance to the flag and repeat it. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Collins?
Yes.
Lillian?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Hannah's excuse Grover?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Okay, at first I need a motion to amend the agenda that we have written here, because we're going to not do the public comment or the reports at the end. We'll strictly do new business, and so we can get on to what we're here for.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Holland. You don't need roll call, do you?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Now I need agenda to approve the amended agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Grover,
Second.
second by Holland. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We're going right on to new business, and our new business is motion to approve the Rush Park Class C liquor license and Sunday sales October 21st, 2016 through October 20th, 2017. Motion, Mr. Holland, second. Pick good, there's three of them.
Who wants to know?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Then all I need is a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Grover, second by, we always got to get Jenny in there. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. We're done with our meeting.
Thank you.
That's efficiency right there. You will now, do you need to do introductions or anything?
I'm going to let these folks introduce themselves.
We're going to get out of your way and become the audience. How's that sound?
Thank you very much.
Oh, yes. Lift up right there, man. I don't think most of them.
How you folks doing tonight? My name is Luke, this is Melanie, and this is Parker. We're with Blue Space Creative. We are a brand communications agency out of Denison, Iowa. We represent clients in 35 states and 9 countries. And one interesting thing about our agency is we've never solicited a single client. And actually, Absolutely Indy was the one who reached out to us to help rebrand or see what we can do to help out the community of Independence, Iowa. And we've been doing our research, and we're about to present that along with our strategy for moving forward. And so, we'll jump right in.
Okay. We do have a lot of information here. We are going to try and condense it the best we can. We know that everybody kind of has a little bit of a time limit. We'll try not to go too much past that, so bear with us.
One thing I'll just kind of add to that is this information will be made available, so you will be able to view our presentation and what you're going to see up on the screen. And if we have questions, if we can, try to hold them to the end just so we can kind of keep rolling through some of this information. That would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, we'll get started here. The overview. While Independence is experiencing challenges similar to those of other small towns across the country, it has many reasons to be optimistic about the future. With a unique history, strong name, an abundance of recreation opportunities, and numerous updated civic resources, Independence has the ability to distinguish itself in the minds of current and potential residents. What will define Independence? How can Independence create a better experience for residents, businesses, and visitors? Leaders in the community believe that defining a distinct identity will not only boost community pride, but also guide future decisions and establish an effective marketing effort to residents, potential residents, and visitors. This report establishes an assessment of where the Independence brand is today and presents a strategy to help the community achieve its goals for the future. What we're presenting tonight are basically our findings from the assessment that has been done since May, defining why we have been, what we have been contracted to do, and suggestions and considerations for moving forward with the brand. The project scope is Blue Space Creative is proud to present this report in cooperation with the Community of Independence and volunteer organization Absolutely Indie. Independence has contracted Blue Space Creative to complete core creative projects for the initial stages of the community branding process. Upon completion of this report and pending the approval of the final Blue Space brand strategy, the following assets will be developed. A positioning statement. The positioning statement, sometimes known as a tagline, effectively summarizes the brand message in a compelling manner, works to inspire the audience around the community brand. A logo identity. Although important, the logo is not the end goal of an effective branding initiative. The logo is the brand's calling card, the communication of the brand message in instant visual terms, builds recognition and memorability among the audience while presenting the brand in a positive professional light. And the brand standards guide. This is a valuable tool for establishing and maintaining the community's investment in branding. Designed to speak to residents as much as city officials and professional vendors, this guide will demonstrate proper communication of the brand as well as how community brand works. The information provided will inspire community involvement and increase buy-in. Your brand is not your logo, your tagline, or your mission statement. It's not a collection of your colors, fonts, or advertisements. A brand only utilizes these elements as tools. Your brand is how you're known to those that interact with you. The messages you send, the experiences you create, and the image that you project are all factors in building a brand. Each one of these things comes together to create the perception that eventually takes permanent residence in the hearts and minds of those that come to know you. A brand is not built in one day, but over time by the actions, words, and decisions of many people. Every person, place, or enterprise already has a brand. The question is, how effective is that brand? This blueprint will evaluate how effective your brand is at achieving your goals and provide recommendations for how to evolve your brand in the future. Key to success. Brand building takes time and is the culmination of all the experiences that an individual has with the brand. Building a brand is not only about spending money on advertising and marketing. It is about consistently delivering on the brand promise. In order for the brand to succeed and sustain, it will be up to everyone in Independence to own and build the brand with positive behaviors and word-of-mouth promotion. The people of Independence are one of the most powerful tools the community has. We conducted our research through several different manners. One was a brand audit where the City, Chamber, and Economic Development Committee were asked to submit all available items requested on a brand audit checklist, including marketing materials and research reports. And what you see here is just a sample page that was sent to these people. Leadership interviews were one-on-one confidential interviews with City and Chamber members, as well as citizens that were singled out by the community leaders, were conducted by a Blue Space team member. Community surveys. Surveys were developed and targeted to specific demographics, one residents and visitors, and that resulted in 200 respondents. One was for business owners, which resulted in 20 respondents, and then another for 11th and 12th grade high school students, which resulted in 286 respondents. Then there was on-site research that we did. There were 7 members of the Blue Space team that conducted one day of voluntary on-site research in Independence that granted a greater level of depth to their research and assessment, and a competitive analysis where members of the Blue Space team conducted additional research to better understand and analyze surrounding communities. The first thing we looked at were brand elements. When it comes to the way you represent your brand, it's simple. Everything matters. Every word, every image, and every action works to either reinforce or diminish your promise to the world. Moving forward, the community must be able to regulate its message to maintain the integrity of the brand. The consistency of your message, along with the level of quality and how the message is presented, will affect the success of the branding efforts. Your brand elements are the tangible components that represent your brand. Understanding these elements and the messages they send will help you best represent the brand moving forward. And these are quality, name, presentation, fonts, marketing materials, consistency, messaging, colors, website, logo, excuse me. Your name as a brand element. Brand's name is an incredibly important factor because it's the way a brand is referenced thousands of times each day. A city's name is not a matter of choice, it's an inherited trait. Fortunately, Independence is a name with great opportunity, full of positive attributes. On the positive, strong and memorable, there's instant imagery, values, freedom, independent, perceptions of boldness, grit, valor, tenacity, and assurance. On the negative side, there's 26 states that also have cities with the name Independence, which kind of takes away from its uniqueness. We looked at your brand message. Brand message is the overall statement that conveys who you are as a brand. It is the idea that inspires, persuades, and motivates people to connect with you. Your message must be unique, focused, based in truth, supported by consistent action, adoptable by the entire community, simple, resistant of negativity, and defiant of fleeting fads and styles. Currently, Independence uses 4 positioning statements. America's fame is in our name, proud people promoting progress, come live and serve with us, come build and work with us, have a play date with us, and live with us, work with us, and play with us. And we looked at your logos. One of the most prominent element of your brand identity is the logo. Strong logo is the iconic foundation of your brand equity, representing who you are and what you stand for in instant visual terms. While Independence does have an official identity for citywide use, related entities like the Chamber, Absolutely Indie, and the Library all use completely separate identities. This creates a lack of distinction and overall presence for the Independence logo and avoids the key opportunity to cross-promote. On the whole, the Independence logo is unrefined and lacks memorability and impact. We looked at your colors. On the whole, you're adopting the red, white, and blue theme, but there's no defined color palette, so that results in varied hues of reds and blues. There's no standard. Same thing with fonts. A lack of consistent font family usage can be found across much of Independence's marketing and promotional pieces. Like color, fonts convey their own subtle messages, must be used consistently to present a strong and memorable brand.
So the different fonts you see over here are all pulled from various stationery, like the letterhead, city documents, and envelopes, etc. Things like that.
And we took a look at your marketing and promotional materials. An evaluation of Independence's marketing pieces revealed issues common among small communities. While all civic entities are making great efforts to promote their individual cause, they are not working well together to promote the community as a whole. In general, this leads to a broad mixture of messages that do not clearly represent the brand, poor promotion of great community assets, and fragmented information for the reader. Research revealed that the current tone and presentation of Independence's marketing and promotional material is very straightforward, dry, and generally missing the mark on its representation of valued attractions and landmarks. Looked at your visitors packet. Although visitors that request information about Independence can receive abundance of materials, it was difficult to come by. Visitors to the Independence website were redirected to the Chamber website, where physical materials had to be requested by phone or email. When the Blue Space team acted as a visitor interested in moving to Independence, the Chamber did a great job of providing resources. However, the items contained in the visitor's packet were prime examples of the lack of brand standards and messaging. Some of the items that were in the packet were multiple maps, school programs, hotel information, rat cards and brochures for attractions and civic resources, county welcome guide, list of local businesses. Then we took a look at your websites.
Yep, so both the city and chamber websites were looked at, and both had many positive attributes, and then there were some opportunities for things that could be worked on. So some of the positives of the city website are the aesthetics, and the menus are very organized. there's cool features like Notify Me, the community voice page. What's good about it really is the current news and announcements calendar that's linked up with the chamber website, and everything seems to stay pretty current. And the design of the site's responsive, so you can use it on your cell phone, you can use it on your computer. Some of the negatives were the competing identities. So at the top there, you have the independence spelled out there, and then at the bottom of each page, it's the logo that's used on a lot of the letterhead and things like that. Then some of the social media buttons, usually when you see like a Facebook or Twitter button, click on it, it'll take you straight to the social media page. But when you do it on the website, it takes you to a separate page, and then you can get the link to click on the social media. There's a video tour that seems pretty handy, and it's kind of hidden below the blue bar you see there. It's a really small link, but it's something that could be useful for future residents or entrepreneurs that are interested in independence. Also, there's an abundance of information that's on the site, but through the menus, you can't find it. So if you go searching for community surveys through the menus, it's a lot tougher to find than if just actually searching for it. So there's a lot of information, you can just be organized a little bit. For the chamber website, there was organized categories, and then the today's events calendar was very up to date. The latest from the Facebook link is good for social media users to look at. Some of the negatives were there's a recent news feed, not the today's events, but the recent news feed was a couple months out of date. And then again, the positioning statements, America's Fame is in our name, Property People Promoting Progress, they're both used there, so it's kind of competing positioning statements. Also, there's a business spotlight section where if you click on it, there's not too much to learn about the businesses. You have the business logo, but it doesn't say why there's a business spotlight, or it doesn't give any information about the business itself. So, but while both of the sites appear to serve the purpose that they're created for, the overall identity is disjointed and inconsistent. So the community should speak as a whole through all of its websites.
We took a look at some of your forms that you use within the city next, and we're looking at a business card here that has some blurring. So where the colors and the lines start to run together. There was skewing on a performance evaluation form where you've got your logo kind of stretched out and the address is off to the left. Then on your job application form, again, there's some inconsistency. You've got a positioning statement on this one within the logo, and then on your city letterhead, there is no positioning statement with it. So kind of what we're trying to say here with this is if you want to think of some bigger companies like Nike or UPS or Apple, if you received something in the mail from them, a brochure or a letter to you, a form letter, and it came with a logo that looked like it was run off of a copy machine or stretched, immediately it loses a little bit of credibility. And when you've got, and it happens easy, over the years, people taking different logos from Google or wherever they can find it, making hundreds of copies off of copies that came from a copy. But as that kind of starts to roll downhill, everything just starts to look a little bit worse. So that's another thing that the brand standards guide, it shows people how to use a logo, the size the logo needs to be, your colors that a logo needs to be, and everything becomes standardized. Here we're going to go into some of the leadership interviews. Again, these were one-on-one confidential interviews that were done by a Blue Space member with some of the leaders in the community. When leaders were asked if they were proud to live and do business in Independence, the answer was a resounding yes. They affirmed that people are proud to be from Independence, and that is those people that make the community great. Many leaders shared common beliefs of what the community's strengths as well as the challenges the city faces. Some of the strengths they noted were location. A lot of Independence's strength lies in its proximity to US 20 and Interstate 380, being within an hour of several larger cities makes Independence the ideal place to raise a family while opening residents up to more career opportunities. Community events, offering an abundance of community events, inspires involvement from a variety of demographics. And upgraded resources, the hospital, junior high school, parks and recreational facilities, aquatic center, and library are all considered to be community assets. Some of the challenges noted: employment, leadership, housing options, nightlife entertainment, negative people, high property taxes, and limited shopping options were all seen as challenges in keeping residents happy living in Independence. They were also recognized as a deterrent in attracting new residents, businesses, and visitors. Leaders say that the qualities that make Independence unique are its location, people and volunteerism, community events, parks and recreation, new and improved resources, and the Wapsie River. Here we've got some surveys that were done, and 7 out of 11 leaders say they were brought back to Independence due to job opportunities. 11 out of 11 leaders are proud to live and do business in Independence. 9 out of 11 say that the 4th of July celebration is what embodies the city the most. 2 out of 11 are satisfied with the work the Chamber is doing. 9 out of 11 think people move away from Independence because of job opportunities. 10 out of 11 had unfavorable comments about Independence retail options, and 5 out of 11 believe the city does a good job of communicating with the residents of Independence. For time, I won't read all the quotes on these pages, but I think you said it will be available. But if you want to go through, these are just some positive, negative, and quote challenges and negative and positive
Some of these
perceptions.
do come up as we're going through some of the survey results. We'll be touching on those and then how ways we can address those with certain methods.
And then we're going to get into the survey results here. To gain insight into community perceptions and experiences, a survey was created and made available to Independence residents, visitors, 11th and 12th grade high school students, and business owners. The survey answers also provided a community voice in the process of forming the community vision and direction. The following pages provide key results, highlight quotes from residents, visitors, business owners, and community leaders, and summarize common themes and observations. And we'd like to note that many of the questions in the survey were open-ended. Therefore, results that are shown in percentages may not be reflective of a true 100%, and a complete list of the results is in the addendum. Surveys came back from 37 different zip codes. People were asked, residents, what do you like the most and least about living in Independence? Mostly small community character. On the negative side, career opportunities. Convenience of location, school district, and public library scored high. Shopping options, dining options, and cost of living scored low. People were asked which words do you believe best describe Independence? On the positive side, friendly, safe, and traditional. Negative, maintaining, traditional, narrow-minded. We noted that the negative ones answered by former residents. People who moved away from Independence chose words that imply that failure to grow and be progressive were factors in their decision to leave. Do you feel the community is friendly? Mostly yes. But although the majority of residents, visitors, and business owners feel that Independence is friendly, all 3 groups noted that the community can be cliquey and unwelcoming to outsiders. Visitors were asked if the signs in town are attractive. Are the directional signs to attractions available and easy to follow? 55% said yes, 40% said no, the rest didn't pay attention. Visitors were asked to name 3 things they disliked about Independence: street property and upkeep, lack of dining, and downtown traffic. Residents were asked, do you make an effort to shop local? 86.2% said yes. They were asked, are you able to buy everything you need in Independence? If not, what can't you buy? 73.9% of residents said they weren't able to buy everything. 71.4% of business owners said they weren't. More than half to almost 3/4 of respondents said they could not buy clothing or shoes in Independence. Residents were asked, how often do you leave Independence to shop? 83.7% said once a month or more frequently. We thought something interesting about this was most people say yes, they make an effort to shop locally. Most of them can't find what they need. Most of them leave and go elsewhere.
We did find that in the surveys, 27% of residents who took the surveys live in Indy or work outside. So a lot of them mentioned that there was little opportunity to shop when they came home because of store hours.
Residents were asked which of the following things may cause you to increase the amount of business or activities you do in Independence. The majority said better shopping selection, variety, additional dining options, more events and entertainment, lower prices, more convenient store hours. 42.9% of business owners believe that the most effective way to increase the amount of business and activities people do in Independence is to have better shopping selection and variety. 68.8% of visitors say that additional dining would increase the amount of business they do.
The dining options, the leadership interviews throughout the surveys, it seemed like most residents were interested in a brewery, eatery type of establishment, and then some more upscale restaurants. So we're hoping would be available.
Here, people were asked what type of new business development do you feel would benefit Independence the most? And between residents and business owners, over half the respondents say that retail and manufacturing development would benefit Independence the most. Top answers for student and visitors was shopping and retail. Residents and visitors were asked on average, how often do you utilize each of the following community assets? The highest rated were local dining, grocery shopping, and parks by both. Residents were asked to rate Independence on its delivery of the following items. This is just a sample here. With the stars, there were about 21 that were actually rated. Again, those are in the addendum. These are just a sample of the ones that were rated the highest and the lowest, with library services being highest. Residents were also asked to rate the assets that were most valuable to them, and the top 3 were local dining, health facilities, and parks.
And you guys have a vast amount of parks. We were impressed when we came to town, just looking at all the green space and all the parks. And we know there's a certain way that those parks came to be, but coming from a small town, Iowa, I'm from a town of 400, so it's always great to have, along the river, you've got the trails. And to me, that was a great selling point, just seeing the green space.
I think we were surprised too, throughout the surveys, how the library received high praise throughout everyone, all the respondents, they all had good things to say about the library. So.
We thought an interesting thing to point out here were that 65% of visitors responded with a not sure or no when asked if they were aware that there was a visitor station. Here, if Independence offered the following arts and entertainment options, how likely would you be to attend? These are residents and visitors again, on a scale from likely to, or these answers are ones that answered likely or extremely likely. Summer Arts Festival, concert series, comedian showcase. The next slide, we talk about your Independence Day celebration. Basically, people love it.
There's no doubt.
That was their
Overwhelming response.
Yes.
Positive.
We'll point out 80% of residents feel that the 4th of July celebration is the most valuable to the community. And another interesting was that 43.8% of visitors who have attended the 4th of July celebration rate it as being extremely valuable to the community. Here, people were asked how likely are you to consider volunteering to assist with a local community event. We have 54.6% saying somewhat to extremely likely, 20.8% saying not at all likely. The reason that most people are not mainly was due to time and scheduling. 57.1% of business owners say they already are volunteering. People were asked how transparent is the city government on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being not at all transparent, 5 being extremely transparent. We have 38.7% of residents saying not at all, or a 1 or a 2, 50% of business owners rating it a 1 or a 2. Here, people were asked how they receive their information about city government. You have 73.1% of people saying they receive their information via social media. So that's just a call right there too, that your social media needs to be very current because that's where people are turning to for their information.
So in addition to a lot of the city social media now is traffic, and recently it's been disaster, emergency related with the press releases of the flood and everything, but Usually it's just used more for like traffic and things like that. But it could be more active posting content like the events that are on the calendar or information from city meetings, different social happenings. Just it has the opportunity to be a lot more active because that's the number one place where people are looking for the news.
Here, residents were asked if people of Independence have a cohesive vision for the future. 55.3% said no, 28.3% said yes, 11.2% unsure, 3.9% sometimes.
That was answered by residents.
What could Independence improve upon to become a better community? Business owners said let's work together. Residents say more community involvement. Visitors, more dining and retail. Students, we want more activities for teens. Former residents want more trail and river investment. What are some common positive and negative perceptions about business in Independence? It's unique, friendly and helpful, and it's supportive of the community. On the negative side, limited selection, poor business hours, high prices, poor upkeep, and outdated storefronts. Business owners were asked if they were proud to do business in Independence. 88.9% say yes. Are there any businesses that people from out of town routinely come to shop at? 71.4% of business owners say that people are coming from out of town to shop at specialty stores. 14.3% of business owners listed Walmart. Some of the businesses actually called out, specifically listed, were the Little Red Schoolhouse, Lurie's, Distinctions, S&K Collectibles, Fabulous Fridays, Quilter's Quarters. Business owners were asked what are the hopes for the future of downtown. 42.9% of business owners described the future of downtown Independence as being vibrant, unique, youthful, and creating draw from surrounding communities, which it looks like that's already starting to go on with your specialty stores that people are coming to town to check out. As a business owner, what's the biggest complaint that you personally have or have received about the city government? High taxes, limited communication, lack of interest downtown, and wasteful spending. How does the chamber contact your business? What, if anything, has it done for your business recently? 85.7% of businesses say they have little to no contact from the chamber. 14.3% say they have frequent. 35.7% said they get contacted only for annual dues and event sponsorship. 42.9% of business owners say the chamber could help them with promotion, education, and coordination. Now here, the business owners were asked, do you feel the businesses of Independence have a cohesive vision for the future? 50% say no. 14.3% say yes. 14.3% say uncertain. 21.4% say starting to. So if you remember a few pages ago where we asked the residents if they felt like they have a cohesive vision, 55.3% say no. So you have 55.3% saying no from residents, 50% saying no for business owners. So people are looking for direction. On the last page here, we have basically 4 questions that all led to the same answer. Residents were asked if addressed in the next 2 to 5 years, what do you believe would make the most impact on the quality of life for current and future citizens? Career opportunities. Residents and former residents were asked what is or was your least favorite thing about living in Independence? Career opportunities. Former residents were asked, what was your primary reason for moving away from Independence? Career opportunities. Visitors were asked, what aspects are the most important when making a decision about where to live? Career opportunities. Now we're going to look just a little bit at the on-site research. This is when Blue Space came to Independence, walked around, talked to your community members. I won't read here. We'll look Frisbee golf at the parks to the year-round recreational facilities. The active nature of the residents is underlined throughout the city. Some of your residential areas. While exploring the neighborhoods, the team observed many residences that were well maintained. The Italianate style of the homes is well represented and undeniably adds to the charm of the community. The main stretch of businesses downtown is on an extremely busy road. The street level area of downtown was well kept with flowers and clean walkways, but the overall aesthetics were a hit and miss for the team. Some observations included unattractive second-level storefronts and business signage, lack of places to sit, lack of available trash receptacles, and an overall incohesive look. your large amounts of green space. The team noted many vast green spaces. Whether it was a residential yard or a public space, the natural landscapes were abundant throughout the city. Walkability. The team spent a good amount of time walking around the downtown area, parks, and residential areas. The walkability of Independence varies throughout. Your signage. Being unfamiliar with Independence, special attention was given to the directional signage in the town, as well as how the signs pulled visitors from the highway. The team consensus was that this was an area with many opportunity. Independence is full of landmarks and interesting architecture. The buildings and their historical significance are an opportunity to draw people to the community. We'll look at some of your rough areas. Many areas seem to be neglected and in various states of disrepair. Leaving things uncared for sends a powerful message to residents and visitors alike. We're going to go a little bit further into some of those. The aesthetics of a community are a huge opportunity to differentiate itself from its competitors, reflect its personality, and invite commerce. Neglected areas can send an immediate and uninviting message to visitors and potential businesses. This also affects community pride, resident pride. While many areas were well maintained and attractive, the Blue Space team observed several opportunities for great improvement. We're going to talk about your signage a little bit. With lack of signage, no promotion of local opportunities, the entrance to town could easily be missed, appears uninviting, and ignores an opportunity to make passing visitors aware of all that Independence has to offer. The directional signage in town points to parks, fairgrounds, school, and parking areas. However, there's very little attempt to pull residents and visitors to one of the town's major assets, the Wapsie River. On both closed and open businesses, signs were in disrepair and often disharmonious with the style of architecture. There's not a consistent downtown personality. We touched on this a little bit before, the seating downtown. Those who wish to spend the day shopping in Independence will notice that there are no opportunities to sit and rest between shops. Lack of seating can discourage foot traffic and limit the amount of time spent shopping downtown altogether. Now, we have heavily faded street paint and poorly maintained sidewalks. We know that I think has been addressed already since our visit here, but talking about overgrown sidewalks and faded paint discourages time spent walking around. Littered and neglected sublevel stairwells downtown, lack of trash receptacles. This problem is prominent along downtown walking paths with fast food litter, bottles, and cigarette butts being most commonly seen. Overall, this projects a poor image of resident pride. The small number of garbage cans uptown is surely a contributing factor to the issue. The receptacles the team did find were undersized and packed full. Abandoned business spaces with exposed messes and remnants of the former business leave a sense of decline where opportunity should be communicated. The vacant Malik movie theater is one amongst many. Graffiti and spray-painted markings were apparent on the side of buildings as well as along bridges and walls near river accesses. The crumbling backsides of storefronts, which can be seen along one main entryway into town, deteriorating equipment in multiple parks by residential areas, chipping and faded paint on building exteriors, rotting wooded benches, and unmaintained grassy areas all send the wrong kind of message to residents, visitors, and potential businesses. A city in decline. The next 2 pages, you won't be able to see it this way, was the competitive analysis that the Blue Space team did on city names, their logos, positioning statements, founding and history, population. The one thing that we wanted to kind of call out here we learned that there's a very negative perception of high sales tax in Independence. Property tax, I'm sorry. The cities of Manchester, Olwine, and Waterloo, all 3 have lower property taxes, lower median income, while they have higher property taxes. Thanks, Parker.
This again was
So,
We'll let him take it since I messed it up the first time.
so we took a look at the surrounding communities, median household income for each one, and then we looked at the resident tax rate. And basically, we found that Manchester, Olwine, and Waterloo all have a lower median household income, but their tax rate is actually higher. Independence's. So their median
Make more
income's
sense.
lower than Independence, their tax rate's higher.
I think that was one thing that we saw through open-ended comments and throughout the survey was that the property taxes were higher. But honestly, it's a matter of education, letting people know, no, actually, there are higher areas that you could be living in. So that was something that we did take a look at because that was,
Looking at our chart, it's kind of right in the middle.
Yeah, if you see it on a spread, you would be able to see them right next to each other.
So on the second page of the chart, we have some major events and dates listed for the surrounding communities. That's just for planning. Planning-wise, I know there's events that pull residents from Independence to those other communities. So it's just a good thing to keep in mind when you're planning an event. Just check around, look surrounding areas and see what events they have going on first.
and we know that goes the opposite too with your 4th of July celebration too. So that doesn't go unnoticed, that's for sure.
The next thing we looked at was the brand advocacy rating, which is a tool to gauge your brand strength. People were surveyed, were asked how likely they would be to recommend living in, working in, and visiting Independence. Responses were put into three categories: promoters, those who positively market the brand and lead to growth; passives, those who are satisfied but not necessarily loyal and can be lured to other brands; and detractors, those who are damaging to the brand and can cause decline. The rating is calculated by subtracting the percentage of detractors from the percentage of promoters and then averaging the sum of these percentages. The national community average score ranges from a 50 to 70% positive brand advocacy rating, and Independence is at a 31%.
So on the next page, we have the charts. So we have living Independence, working in Independence, visiting Independence. So some of the key observations that we found were that in all three categories, the community has more promoters than detractors. So that's a clear indicator of community pride. Although the overall advocacy rating is low, it's not beyond hope to see a quick turnaround with proper action. So working in Independence has a great opportunity to be turned into a stronger rating, kind of like living in Independence. This would basically require winning the high percentage of passives in that category and moving them over to the promoter category. And then visiting is the most detrimental to the overall brand advocacy rating. Educating residents on the value of tourism in the area, why people visit, and what assets can be utilized to attract visitors will help better their score.
Next, we're going to take a look at the SWOT analysis, acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We're kind of going to skip a little bit the strengths and weaknesses because it's basically a recap of things that we've already touched on. Key points of your brand assessment have been compiled to identify the community of Independence's unique strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We are going to stop on the opportunities section because this is what we're going to be touching on in the strategy. First, an opportunity is to revitalize downtown business. Get local business owners to work together, improve storefronts and set an example for the community, develop and implement a common theme for the downtown area, continuance of unique stores and shops, build and strengthen existing businesses. Education and transparency. Educate residents on high property tax perception. Keep city and chamber websites and social media accounts up to date. Identify ways to assist in attracting and recruiting new beneficial businesses, cultural activities, recreational opportunities, and entertainment options. Ensure all organized cultural events display the unique character of the city and its residents. Stronger promotion of city and events. We have an opportunity to shift mentality and perception. Strengthen collaboration between young and old. Show the value of progress to resistant types. Give business owners and residents a brand to rally behind. Develop events that bring diverse groups of people together. Create a connection with the brand through the city's streetscape. And an opportunity to build on assets. Expand on the active lifestyle of residents and continue to implement healthy lifestyle components. Utilize the riverfront. Develop larger events and activities and promote the use of city parks more effectively. And real quickly, some of the threats are the surrounding communities, negative perceptions in the community, and struggling leadership. The prevailing observations from the assessment limited career options and job opportunities, strong small town community character, ineffective brand positioning and brand presence, no consistent leadership for the chamber, prideful and friendly people, limited communication between city and local businesses, lack of public engagement and participation, ill-perceived tax rates and community awareness, opportunities to improve community aesthetics, divided resident collaboration with lack of cohesive vision. While the City of Independence boasts a unique landscape, small town feel, and many positive attributes and assets, its lack of identity creates strong barriers in achieving positioning, progress, and a unified community. That was pretty fast to go through there, so sorry I messed things up. Now we're going to get into the strategy. The top bubbles here are basically a condensed version of what I just read you. The way that we are going to take a look at improving is by positioning the brand, creating the brand experience, and championing the brand. Our strategy goals are to create a belief system and increase community buy-in, revitalize community pride and outlook, invite new resources, residents, businesses, and visitors. The following pages outline methods to establish a cohesive brand message and vision for the community of Independence. Creative ideas and realistic recommendations are presented to ensure strength, consistency, and overall effectiveness. First thing we're going to talk about here is your brand essence. What is brand essence? It's not your logo, it's not your tagline, it's not the colors or fonts you choose. Your brand essence is how people emotionally connect with your brand. It is the intangible heart and soul of a brand, easily grasped and simply obvious. Your essence will be carried through in some way in everything you do moving forward. Through all the research done, the factual analysis, the experience in your city, and the comments and quotes we gleaned from the surveys, we have determined that Independence stands for spirit. It is clear that Independence is a community rich in resources, amenities, and a tight sense of family. Independence's very name bears the traits of strength, fortitude, and purpose. It projects a town that will stand strong through the test of time, constant in its efforts to remain relevant in the eyes of its residents, visitors, and surrounding communities. How do we ensure that Independence lives up to the image of its name? How do we use the spirit of a community to build a powerful brand? 1, we build upon the qualities that you already possess. 2, we create experiences in Independence. 3, commit to a vision and rally your community behind it. Michael Eisner, who was CEO for the Walt Disney Company for about 20 years, says, "A brand is a living entity and it is enriched or undermined cumulatively over time, the product of 1,000 small gestures." So think about that. Think about everything that you know to be Disney. Castle, fireworks, princesses, Cinderella, Mickey and Minnie, the songs, the images of smiling princesses, hugging children at the theme parks, the employees at the hotels, and on and on. The Disney brand is breathed every day by the people who live it. It's not just one movie, it's not just one song, it's not just one princess. It is in everything they do by everyone who does it. That is what makes the brand successful. When you think of Walt Disney, not the person, but the brand, what do you feel? Happy. Magic. That is Disney's essence. It's what you feel. It's an intangible. So when we say spirit, we're not looking for spirit fingers. It's a feeling. What do you want people to feel about Independence when they come to your community, when they hear it, when they see a sign, when they see your logo on a piece of paper? That's a brand's essence. Now, how do we get there? Talking about positioning, your message. We have to give it a voice. Positioning the brand in the marketplace means giving the brand a voice and personifying it. If you thought of Independence as a person, what would it look like? What would it wear? How would it speak and act? And again, we're thinking about spirit. Independence's current messaging works to convey a sense of community pride and unity, promote progress, and build upon the country's fame. Unfortunately, the intent falls short. Think back to the 4 messages that we talked about earlier. 4 different messages. Come live and serve with us. Come build and work with us. Have a play date with us. Live with us. Work with us. Play with us. The tangle of these messages leaves a feeling of disjointedness. The message is not clear. What exactly is it that independence stands for? There's nothing to hold on to, nothing memorable. The consequences of this is that independence, as a brand, passes through our senses just as quickly as it came. To combat this and create a sticky brand, your voice must present a cohesive message, a unity among the tangibles and intangibles. The brand message, when delivered effectively through actions, words, and decisions, will make a home in the minds and hearts of the people that should care about it. Suddenly, independence voice is heard, and more importantly, it's remembered. Another thing that positioning the brand will do is help independence stand out among surrounding communities. How can independence set itself apart from surrounding communities that may have amenities that independence does not? And instead of competing with them, how do they use them as an asset? Blue Space Creative has been hired to develop the following items, which will be the start of your journey in positioning the independence brand. Positioning statement is critical to define a positioning statement that encompasses independence essence. This statement will become the pledge of the community, communicating the benefits of living in, working in, and visiting independence. Number 2, logo development. Your logo is one of the strongest visual cues of your brand. It instantly communicates your brand's message to all who come in contact with it. A successful logo will be professional, highly distinguishable, and easily reproduced across a wide range of mediums. And the brand standards guide, which we had talked about earlier. This guide is an invaluable tool designed for use by residents, business owners, city officials, chamber members, and outside vendors. This reference will detail how to communicate the independence brand through various forms. Some of the things that it includes are defining the brand, positioning statement usage, logo usage, font styles, brand and community color palette, community design elements, photography and design styles, electronic media guidelines, brand communication standards, which is how to and how not to communicate the brand.
This is an important piece. I can't stress how important the brand standards guide is, because whether you're working with our team or another team, this is the way you can help police that brand. If you're working with an outside designer or another firm, whatever it may be, you can hand them this guide and they have to abide by it, because that's what's been developed for the brand. And that's going to be one of the exciting pieces that we will be developing is the voice, the font colors. You know, there's going to be secondary and tertiary palette color recommendations. We'll get into business storefront colors, so we can bring a cohesive message not only to the community but downtown and just throughout in general. So can't stress how important that piece will be. And it's really a valuable tool that you can place, whether it's City Hall, tourism, and those sort of things. So it's just wanting to stress how important that is again.
The following recommendations that we're about to talk about will be developed after the positioning statement, logo, and brand standards guide are developed.
And these are pieces that you'll see we have a little B symbol on these. We've done this with so many communities, brands, people, places. Like I said before, everyone that's ever worked with us has come to us. We're effective for a reason, and that's why we have this recommendation in here. You'll see these B's next to some of these different tools. Like I said, whether you work with us or not, that's fine, but this is something we do every day. We live and breathe it. And so that's why you're going to see that in here. And some of these pieces, when we're talking about stationary collateral, your business card, your letterhead, your envelopes, they all have to have that cohesive look and feel, so you know whoever sends anything out in the city, whoever, that it's always going to look the same. It's always going to carry that brand through. No matter who's looking at it, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's independence. Over time, they're going to get used to seeing those pieces. So presentation folders, email signatures, e-newsletters, those are all things that are important in the communication aspect. And going through the assessment, we know that's one area we need to look at is communication between city and residents, between city and chamber, and so forth. Advertising and promotion. It is important, regardless of what piece we're talking about, that it resonates, it speaks the voice of that brand. We're talking about signage, print and digital advertising, high-quality photos or videos, promotional materials, including visitor's guide, economic development, recruiting brochure, pieces like that will grab people's attention and, again, carries that cohesive message through. Online presence, we've already touched on this. You guys have a great website, and I can't tell you how excited I was personally to see that it was mobile friendly, because we're at that day and age where that's not going away. And so to have it be responsive, that's impressive. That's really what we like to see as a design firm coming in. SEO is a big part of that, developing your pages so that when someone searches for certain keywords, maybe they're on vacation, they're looking for 4th of July celebration. We want to have pages that have content that when the Google spiders are crawling throughout the site, they're catching those keywords, and that's building up those search results. So we can continue building the brand that way. Tracking monthly web stats and monitoring visitor interactions. Another software that we use that we can actually go in and watch visitors throughout the website, where exactly they're going, where are they getting hung up. Knowing those things will help you build a better website and brand, because you'll know, okay, they're getting hung up at this form, or this isn't working, why they got to the page. Those are some of the things that we look at on a daily basis to know where our clients are doing well and where we can improve on. Another piece of that would be social media. I know this is something we manage for a lot of our clients. I can't remember how many different platforms we manage, but it's from 15 to 20 different clients. You're talking 4 to 5 platforms each. So we do a lot with social media management. And one thing that would be good as far as the information that's being presented is going through these survey results. That is how people are getting information in your areas. People who respond to those surveys, that's where they're going for their news and events and different information like that. And social media isn't going away. We all know that. Whether we're talking about Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, there's always going to be a presence. That's becoming more of a global item. One thing specifically we were thinking of internally was if we started some kind of, I grew up in Independence Post. Something where we're kind of reflecting back and showing those positive, this is why I'm here, this is why I'm still here, and this is why I moved here. Those kind of things to get people engaged and get that shareable content out there so that we can continue building our communities and platforms in general. Publicity and media exposure. Seeking publicity and media exposure is not only a low to no cost way to gain exposure, but also lends legitimacy and credibility to the brand. So we're talking about associating the brand with sympathetic causes that will gain exposure for the community as well as enhance its reputation. Monthly media releases can be used to promote significant community happenings and can be repurposed for SEO. So posting those on the website, making sure you're continuing to build that keyword-rich quality content that can be found online. As well as displaying and adding to a list of Independence Awards, titles, achievements. It's a great way to keep the community's accomplishments top of mind. And now go posting those online, easy for people to come across and see the value in that. As well as posting on social media and community websites will help reinforce Independence assets.
Galena, Illinois, their city website has, right off the bat, when you're looking at one of the main tabs, you can just look at all the awards they've won and the achievements and different things. And there are some that you can look back into press releases on the website where it says Independence is ranked nationally, highly nationally for the Independence celebration, the 4th of July celebration. Things like that are good things to tout.
Okay, so what Parker and Luke were just talking about takes care of our first bubble, our positioning the brand, all of those things, the logo, the positioning statement, the standards guide, stationery, advertising, online presence, your social media and publicity. Those are things that will help to position Independence as a brand. The next step was creating the brand experience. So here's where we want to talk about what types of things are people going to experience in Independence that either gets them talking about their community or gets visitors talking about your community, sharing it, making people want to come here. How do we capture mind share? How do we create great experiences that get people talking, keep them coming back? One way is by utilizing touch points. Touch points are any point of contact that someone has with your brand. Touch points can range from a glimpse of a billboard promoting Independence as someone passes by, to an experience with your website, to lunch by the Wapsie River, and even the greeting they get when they place a call to one of Independence's local establishments. There's a multitude of opportunities for people to experience a brand. The interactions that people have with your community are the determining factors in whether or not they choose to subscribe to it. The next part of this section are some points for consideration in creating unique, memorable experiences with the community and brand. So these next pages coming up are suggestions, considerations. Again, the only thing Blue Space has been contracted to do is the positioning, logo, and brand standard guide. But here are some of our suggestions that you could do to begin to develop creating that brand experience. Talk a little bit about your signage. Intriguing and easy to read signage at entrances may help increase the amount of visitors to Independence as well as help to promote its assets. Directional signage may help increase the amount of time people spend in Independence as well as create a desire to return, possibly to see something they just learned was there. Then we learned through some of our research that on First Street, over 6,700 vehicles per day utilize First Street. Use of noticeable and creative signage may help to create an awareness of what Independence offers. While the signage at this particular juncture may not pull people off of their path that day, it can create awareness of what Independence has to offer. They see a sign, they think, oh, maybe I'll come back on Saturday and check that out.
You know, one thing we were talking about was the billboard campaign. I don't know how many of you remember the bird shade campaigns you see along the road or Iowa. Those kind of campaigns where they have messaging strategically placed along the road. You know, that was one thought that we had as a consideration for Independence, if there was some kind of creative campaign that along 20, whatever road it would be, to get people interested in Independence, to get that pull through, get them into town. You know, no matter what it is we're talking about, whether it's architecture or if there's an event coming up or just general awareness. You know, something like that working, it's a little bit of intrigue. They see that going down the road and think, okay, yeah, we got time, let's stop it.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of did all the way.
Yes, we did.
But it's just something for consideration that we brought up and we have in here.
Your aesthetic improvements. An impression can be formed in mere seconds. A clean, well-kept community sends a message, we care. Some ideas are adopt a block community cleanup contest. Pursue grant money for community art projects such as building murals. Continue applying for state-funded revitalization projects. If denied in the past, seek help in finding a solution. Create programs to help residents with exterior maintenance and upkeep for their homes. Increase the number of benches downtown. Benches can be sponsored by community members wishing to donate in memoriam, etc. Existing trash cans in downtown areas should be emptied on a regular basis. Increasing the amount of trash cans may help to decrease the amount of trash on the streets and in stairwells. Think back to some of those pictures you saw earlier. Or create a committee dedicated to cleaning up vacant downtown retail spaces. So here we have some benches, and again, this is just an idea. It's not actually a street in Independence. Picture a row of benches conveniently placed along the stretch of businesses downtown. The style and color of the benches themselves provide another strategic opportunity to act as an extension of the revived brand by utilizing Independence's streetscape. The conveyed feel of that brand is not the only benefit the benches can provide. Allowing opportunities for shoppers to take a load off can increase the amount of time they spend shopping and the number of stores they go to. Benefiting the overall cost of a project like this is the opportunity for the benches to be sponsored by community members wishing to donate in memoriam, etc. Then we've got another page here with a picture of a mural on the building. There are many opportunities for murals around town, most of which can be created inexpensively through the help of residents or local artists. Mural locations could range from alleyways to abandoned business windows to sides of buildings. This project can bring the community together to add vivid new life, build pride, and support community art. Grants exist to help fund public art projects and can help cover material and professional labor expenses. Another area to create an experience is through shopping. There are many opportunities to create positive experiences for shoppers that live in Independence, as well as those that come from surrounding communities. By providing consistent, convenient store hours, attract businesses that offer items that are not adequately available in Independence, which people had talked about, clothing and shoes. Enhance the growing specialty store trend by adding more unique item stores to the current lineup. A chamber-led Shop Independence First campaign would help keep residents aware of the great shopping options that are available in Independence. Businesses should consider working with the chamber to offer promotional programs to Independence patrons who frequent establishments. And that's kind of what we're talking about in our Consider This box. Promotional programs are a great way to increase foot traffic downtown. Imagine the chamber selling reusable shopping bags that, when used at local businesses, would entitle residents and visitors to special savings or discounts. To be cost effective, chamber members and other participating businesses could have their names and logos printed on the bags. Here we have a guide to Independence. This user-friendly piece will market the many resources of the community to more than just visitors, containing dining, shopping, attractions, a useful map, and more. This guide can also be distributed to current residents and commuters to increase local pride and commerce. Consider offering coupons or specials that can be found only in the guide. Present materials in an organized manner for a professional feel versus just throwing items in an envelope. Be sure to represent businesses, resources, and assets and amenities accurately. Make the guide readily available at various locations for those passing through town. Provide a link on the City and Chamber website to request a packet or download an online version. So this is just talking about a guide to Independence, not necessarily just a visitor's guide, which you can have in addition. But this is for anybody. This promotes Independence as a community, promotes its assets. Attract new businesses. Creating awareness of growth opportunities will help draw in new business and entrepreneurs. Work to revitalize the downtown corridor. This will entice and create an energy that businesses will want to be a part of. Create a betterment committee that will work to uphold the condition, look, and feel of the downtown area. Accent empty storefronts with positive messaging, such as coming soon or great space available. Downtown beautification projects should extend to include areas in front of vacant buildings, presenting a vibrant streetscape that relates to the revived brand. Support and provide opportunities for entrepreneurs by simplifying or expediting the business startup process. So basically here we're just trying to provide some ideas of how to invite new businesses into town. How to make Independence look like a place where somebody who wants to bring a business says, I want to go there. My business is going to do well there.
And on that note, just kind of thinking from like a prospective employer or a business looking to move into the community. If I were walking down Main Street and notice, okay, there's a vacant rundown building, believe me, they're all over the place. Not just in Independence, I'm just saying small towns. But if you were to take the time to clean that up and just give it that little touch, and if it said, now available or great, space, envision your business here, those sort of things. If I'm walking down and I see that, I'm like, man, it's well kept, it looks good. I don't have to go in and do a bunch of cleaning or work to get ready to get my business. I can just move in. So it's just kind of one of those thoughts that if we took the time to better some of those areas, any prospective business could see that and take some of that thought of, oh, I got to do all that work. It was just one of the ideas.
The next point we're touching on is building upon the active and outdoor lifestyle that already exists in Independence. Create more opportunities for people to gather and enjoy Independence's assets. This also creates the opportunity for word-of-mouth exposure amongst outdoor enthusiasts from other communities. Hold a community run or triathlon unique to Independence. Possibly build an event around significant historical happenings in Independence. Create additional bike trails, connect existing trails to invite traffic from surrounding community. Create a designated area such as docks or piers along the river to allow more interaction with the water. And here we've just got, again, a simulated picture of an area down by the water that's larger, where more people can gather just to enjoy the ambiance of being there. I know I'll travel from my town to go to another community just if I hear they have a neat bridge or a neat place to hang out by the water. You never know what you can find. Stand out with something special. This is where you really have the opportunity to shine. Independence has many possibilities when it comes to creating unique experiences. Construct a monument, a wall where residents can be acknowledged for their time spent living in Independence. Family names can be gilded stars after their residency surpasses a specific increment of years. Consider promoting the history of Independence by establishing monuments in various places around town and starting a guided history walk to educate residents and visitors. Host events centered around ceremonial flag raising, such as Flag Day, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, etc., where citizen contributions, community leadership, and/or special achievements are recognized by announcing and giving that person or family the privilege of raising the flag. And over here we've just got another picture again of a wall where people's names can be put on it for donations. And we do know that you've done some of this with the schools, benches, bricks, but bringing it into the community is just another opportunity for residents to have some pride in how long that they've been here. Accentuate your assets. Make a statement by turning ordinary spaces into extraordinary places. Rename and create unique events centered around unused or underutilized park areas. Turn underutilized green space areas into additional community gardens or self-guided garden walks. Expand on already popular and well-known events such as the 4th of July celebration. Initiate new activities and entertainment like a flyby or a contest for the best 4th of July family tradition. Light the mill to create an energy around one of the community's most prized landmarks. Light up the bridge near the mill so that it shines down on the river, highlighting another asset prized by the community. Here we've got a picture where we were talking earlier in one of the bullet points about the gardens. With the abundance of green space that Independence has, there's a great opportunity to create low-budget garden walk. The garden walk itself could be a living icon of the community's strength, closeness, and beauty. A gift program put on by the city could gift additional flowers and trees based on the addition of new residents or businesses as a symbol for their addition to the community. The garden walk could provide an opportunity to create new volunteer groups that maintain its condition or even provide educational opportunities for children in the summer to learn about gardening. It's an ongoing project that can be large or small as the budget allows, with nearly endless possibilities for brand reinforcement and meaningful community rituals. Sorry. One of the things that we had seen brought up in the assessment was that it's the same people that volunteer for groups time and time again. And this came up when we were all talking as a really good opportunity to create opportunities for different volunteers. There's many people who love gardening, would love to share their talents. There could be different kinds of gardens, a rose garden, herb garden, vegetable garden, fruit garden. And then again, on top of that, creating opportunities for children to get involved too, growing vegetables. Also, community rituals. We were talking about in the spring, holding events around waking up the gardens. During harvest time, creating an event around harvesting the gardens or putting the gardens to bed. There's just a lot of things that could be done with this that were pretty cool.
And I think with the ritual building, it builds your community. You know, even for us internally, we have our own rituals that are, you know, just blue space that we've come up with. So, for example, if we go up and finish a project, you know, we got our process to complete that. We have a giant gong in our studio. We go up there and we ring that sucker, and that's how you know that we finished the project. And everyone, you know, it's that little, all right, good job, team, back at it, you know, on to the next project kind of thing. So that's one of our rituals, just kind of put that in a little bit of perspective, a little bit different, but just something that Independence can own. This is what Independence is. You know, if you did like the flag raising ceremony, you know, to me, one of the things that comes to mind is, you know, there's the ritual for the New York Stock Exchange, you know, ringing the bell, starting the day, that sort of thing. And that's just an example. There's so many that could be brought up. It's an important part of the brand and who you are.
Creating something that people can believe in and be part of, which we actually talk about next. The next one is lighting up the mill. Again, just a simulated picture of what the mill and the water might look like with some unique lighting on it. And now on to our third bubble, which was championing the brand. And this one is very important. This is getting your people to believe in the brand, getting the people that live here to want to be part of something amazing and feeling it and promoting it and telling people from outside, other businesses, even getting other community members to feel pride in their community.
Part of that, just to say something real quick, you know, going through this brand assessment and the strategy and then going into the positioning, logo, and brand standards guide, that's just a starting point. We're just getting started. And what we don't want to have happen is we lose steam. You know, we get excited, we rally around it for a while, and then it falls off. You know, it's one of those things where championing the brand, getting those people involved in building those brand champions, as we're going to touch on here a bit, is very important to keeping it going.
And this is our last section, so bear with us. I know we're getting close to our time here. And my mouth is getting bad. I'm sorry if I'm messing up my words. No, it's under my tongue still. Gum. I'm surprised it hasn't fallen out. The members of the community of Independence are its strongest ambassadors. In order for residents to rally behind its community, there must be strong communication, cooperation, and trust. It is crucial that every person is equipped with a roadmap that precisely defines Independence's destination in order to explain why and how to deliver Independence's message. Making a conscious effort to abide by the brand guidelines will create a full understanding of who Independence is and what it stands for, which is the first step in cultivating an army of brand champions. So we talk about the brand belief system here first. Defining the internal belief system will help community members understand the story of Independence and the importance of buy-in. Refine your creation story to connect to the brand essence. Your creation story should embody who you are and why. The backstory of a brand fulfills an innate human desire to learn how the brand came to be. We took a tour of a place not so long ago, a restaurant that I had been to before, just on my own, socially, and we were able to walk around with the owners, and they told us about how their restaurant came to be, and immediately learning that backstory, I even said to him, I said, I want to go tell all my friends and I want to come back right now, because it just creates such a deeper connection once you know where somebody came from, how they came to be, why this place is important to them. So that's kind of what we're talking about here by your creation story. Let the people that live in Independence know how Independence came to be, why it's important, why you should be proud to live here, where your roots are. Develop a community creed. Define in one singular idea what it is that differentiates Independence and motivates people to believe in the brand. Work to establish an understanding of Independence's positioning amongst competing communities. Define who Independence is and who Independence is not. Develop and preserve rituals that create accountability and feeling of belonging. That's kind of what Luke was just talking about. Some examples we have here. Every day at 8 a.m., an American flag is raised at the mill. Or research and possibly reinstate a ritual from the town's beginning, or develop new rituals surrounding certain community events. And that's where we were talking about lighting of the mill. It could even be seasonally, or back to the gardens with waking up the garden. Those are rituals that your community can get behind and understand. Another important part of championing the brand is improved communication. Members of the community have repeatedly remarked about the lack of communication between city officials and residents, chamber and business owners, etc. Increase the chamber and city's presence on social media to increase awareness about city events and happenings. Newspaper, website, social media section labeled "Your Tax Dollars at Work" will help community members feel like they are in the know in regard to how their personal contributions are helping to strengthen and improve their community. Events such as a chamber coffee held monthly give chamber members and new businesses the opportunity to network and become well known amongst their peers. Make resources such as a community voice on the current city website known and easy to use. And I think it is there,
Yeah,
it just isn't.
It's a pretty cool feature. There's just not very much interaction with it right now. It's something that could definitely be promoted. There are topics that can be brought up by the city, and then residents can just comment and leave their thoughts and interact with each other. And the city could take those things and put it in action, ideas, certain things like that. So.
And that's an important part of the communication and trust. Educating your residents on what's real and what's just a perception. Squelching negative perceptions. There will always be community members who are resistant to change and will make it their mission to detract from the brand. There are several ways to diminish the effects of negative perceptions. Create opportunities to educate the public regarding property taxes. Bring residents out of the dark when it comes to city meetings and events. Create opportunities for involvement and easy access to information. Develop a committee that is dedicated to the unity of independence, promoting communication and making efforts to focus on issues facing all individuals and groups within the community. Cherry pick 5 brand stewards, residents of Independence that embody the brand and understand what the brand is. Isolate them, educate them, make sure they can act as an extension of the brand. Do this so they can not only police it, but build more brand champions. And lastly, make sure the cheers are louder than the jeers. Make sure you have a bigger group of people supporting the brand than the ones that are trying to detract from it. Positive voices louder than the negative voices. Get the community involved. Involvement in the community will create feelings of pride, belief, and a sense of belonging. Create events centered around cleaning, painting, raising money for community projects. Publicly recognize and put community members in the spotlight for exceptional promotion of independence or community involvement, with a column in the newspaper that covers the movements and happenings related to volunteers, followed up by a post on social media. Use citizen talents and make them shine. Create a database of willing volunteers. The city should seek to work with schools and get the students involved. Re-energizing and reinvigorating the community should be viewed as an exciting and important opportunity. And then job opportunities. Creating new jobs will draw people to Independence. Successful business ventures will gain excitement and word-of-mouth exposure. Start a campaign to expose vacant buildings ripe for entrepreneurs. Conduct a poll to see what type of businesses residents and visitors would like to see in Independence. Create unique experiences around new business startups that keep them loyal to Independence. Establishing a clear, consistent message that Independence is spirited, progressive, and strong will provide residents and visitors alike something to believe in and continuously work toward. Support and buy-in of that message will ignite a desire to live in, work in, and visit the flourishing community that Independence is on track to become. So what we've just outlined for you, I think you may have seen, are the first steps, as well as some forward-thinking recommendations in building the Independence brand. The next steps are for Blue Space Creative to develop your brand positioning, your logo identity, and the brand standards guideline. We've also recommended several exciting ideas to keep you moving in the right direction. The success of your brand depends largely on your efforts to keep it strong and relevant. Keep monitoring your progress and remain proactive. Whatever efforts we're doing here today, don't let them die in the future. And we've just outlined here, basically we recap the brand positioning, the logo identity, the brand guidelines, and then the recommended action items we've listed are the ones that we had the gray B icon next to.
You guys really do have a great community here. You know, we've had such a great time going through this project and just kind of learning about your community and the residents and that sort of thing. And you know, we're very proud to be part of something. This isn't something that should be taken lightly. So thank you for giving us this opportunity to do our diligence to help continue evolving the Independence brand. We really appreciate it. You guys have questions? I don't know how much time we have to go to that, but something I want to go up there. Yes.
Is there a reason why you left out our religion aspects in the community? I didn't hear any what's your reasoning for leaving out? We got a lot of real nice churches and never heard anything about.
Yep, that's something that we kind of didn't want to get too involved with because of everyone's beliefs are different, and just kind of wanting to honor that and keep that to everyone's beliefs. It's generally not something we kind of get into and try to steer. I know coming into town, we even noticed that there's signs for the different churches, and there is some very beautiful churches in town. We were going through that. It was definitely something we took note of, but just we wanted to kind of keep that separate and let everyone have that for their own personal use.
26.
26.
26
Is
states.
there a way to make sure we don't have a brand that would be similar to an Independence in another state?
We would do that research to make sure that it's
During-
very unique
yeah,
to this
during the-
Independence.
During the development of the logo, positioning statement, those will all be looked at.
Do you do copyright protection on the brand then? I mean, if there's 26 others, is that something you recommend, or you stay away from, or it's not that big of a deal?
What we would recommend is definitely trademark. Everyone can claim the trademark, the TM. That doesn't cost you anything. It's the registered trademark that we would recommend going through a trademark attorney for that process, just because of the litigation and the different things that go on with that. We have our own trademark attorney that we go through, but we don't necessarily handle that for the client. But money and time willing, to go through that process, we recommend it to, our clients to go through that process. But definitely claiming trademark on, our mark, our positioning, that sort of thing as we move forward.
And you mentioned we have 4 different slogans, means there's 4 different groups out there. What are the traditional things? It's, for example, the downtown, it's almost impossible to get the merchants all to agree on much of anything. How do you propose, or how are other communities, what are all these groups together?
There's usually a branding committee,
Yeah.
In the community.
so
That-
they're made up of different types of people. A younger audience will be representing their audience.
Well, the biggest,
I'm sorry, you said that real quiet, I'm not sure everybody.
Yeah, I rarely hear you when you're.
Oh, sorry. So there's usually a branding committee that's part of the process, and when we do these city rebrands, there's a branding committee that will represent different demographics of people in the community. So it'll represent younger people, older businesses, just people from all areas. They all usually have a say in what gets approved.
the biggest thing we want to take away from that question is rallying behind the positioning statement that we're going to develop, because that's be based off our brand essence. Everything that we do for Independence, it's going to have that spirit, it's going to have that emotion, that feeling that this is Independence. And really the positioning statement, that's what sets your community apart. It's not about having, 4 what we would consider positioning statements competing, because over time they'll end up chipping away at the brand. So it's rallying around that one message that this is what the community represents. Hopefully that answers your question.
Anybody else?
Well, again, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I-